Good evening, and welcome to a special edition of Beneath the Hollow Moon, where you are listening to us live on the United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 FM in the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. Our regular hosts, Lorilei Potvin and Kerrilynn Shellhorn's alter ego movie critics tonight are Bertha, who I am, and we have Cecilia to my right. We will be hosting this special edition of Beneath the Hollow Moon. So, welcome to Real, and I'm not talking REAL, we're talking REEL, curses, where horror lives on the screen and sometimes off of it. And like I said, I'm Bertha. Take it away, Cecilia.
I'm Cecilia. Today we are diving into the shadows behind the camera, the legends, the accidents, the eerie coincidences that surround some of Hollywood's most famous cursed productions. From Exorcist to Poltergeist, from The Crow to The Twilight Zone, the movie, we're breaking down the facts, the fiction, and everything in between. So buckle up, things are going to get spooky.
And you guys can't see it. I even have a crazy cat lady. And it was supposed to say world's #1 movie critic. But it got cut off. So that's what we're playing tonight. So how are you, Cecilia?
I'm pretty good, Bertha. How about you?
Good. I'm a crazy cat lady. All I do is sit and watch movies, spooky movies, apparently. And we're going to rate them tonight. We're going to talk about the strange, the weird, and the unusual. Because I would love to hear from all of you in the chat. Because I was saying before we went live, I have been seeing it everywhere. Are you guys, you ladies, all of you, however, the group of you, are you noticing that the energy is crazy? Like it's like the seedy underbelly is kind of poking its head up and out. So we thought, why not deal with these movies? Because you hear rumors, you hear innuendos, and we can't obviously say they're verified facts, but a lot of you may have heard of some of these things and some of them you might not have, right? Right, Cecilia?
That's right. And with all of so we had so many different planets that were in retrograde. We have the full buck moon tonight. And, Lorilei and Kerrilynn were just so congenial that they let Bertha and Cecilia come out to play. And we are going to do a moon segment. I believe they are going to do a moon segment next week. And this week we're going to talk about all of those, the seedy underbelly for sure. And where curses happen? Where does this sort of energy come from, right?
Shall we say hi to everybody? I will try. Do you want me to try and highlight and you say hi? I usually screw it up, you guys. I'll do my best, though.
You're highlighting, I'm reading?
Yeah, you want to do that or you want to highlight and I'll read?
Yep. Nope. That's great. Heidi Gold is saying hello, Kerrilynn, Lorilei, Bertha, and Cecilia. Hello. Hello, Victoria, Astrolight Paranormal. Hi, Kerrilynn and Lorilei. Wiz is in the room. Hi. Thank you, James Grau, for being here. Thank you so much.
Does he has, you've mentioned a few times, right? Does he have a
Wizard Radio?
I thought so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Wizard Radio on YouTube.
Guys, so go check him out.
Hi, Contessa Martins. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Hello, Sparky's Paranormal and Outdoors. I saw your live. I was busy earlier, but you did a quick live talking about the Fae and Dogman from your belief system and perspective. So that was brilliant. I'll go back and watch the full segment. I only saw the first little bit.
Oh, I'll have to check that out too. And we forgot to tell you, we put it in when we advertise, but grab your yummy popcorn or movie snacks and something yummy to drink with it, because we even have popcorn here. Kerrilynn's good though. She's got hers propped up. Yeah, I know.
Chicago mix too. I've got Chicago mix. So what do you guys, what's your favorite movie snack? I'm licorice too. So I've got my licorice in there. And in there too, on if I'm being completely transparent, are Smarties. So I took a small thing of Smarties. So there's Smarties and popcorn and licorice
Yes,
in
but
there.
some of our friends from around the world may not know what Smarties are because I believe that Smarties are not in the United States. I can't
Oh.
speak for the rest of the world. They have M&Ms because it's a
Oh.
Cadbury product. So anything that's Cadbury, and the reason why I know this, because our owner of the network, Joe Montaldo, who broadcasts the network from where he lives in New Orleans, I know we've got quite a few Canadians on the network, and there's been a few. I haven't, I promise, but I've never gotten around to it. Sending him some of our candy bars, as some of the people in the US would call it. We call it chocolate bars that you can't get down there.
Purdy's. We'll have to send him some Purdy's.
I don't have Purdy's.
Oh my gosh, Purdy's, the campfire bars and the peanut butter pretzel bars are super yum.
Hi, Fiona. Got Fiona Clark. Okay, let's see. Oh, Sparky says, love your glasses, love it. I had to do a little bit of dissection before because they're actually from Halloween. I showed Cecilia them. They had chains stuck here with a nose and whiskers. So I thought that might be a bit much.
I don't think.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, Heidi Doll. She's saying, love, love, love this. We love it too. Halloween every week, you guys.
Yes. Hello, Julie Dow. Thank you for being here.
I think Instagram is not working tonight. It says we're live, but I had a warning and it's not working like it usually does. So if you are over on Instagram, we aren't ignoring you. Normally, I'd have to go back and forth between Instagram and where we are on StreamYard. So I apologize if you're listening, because you can join us on one of the YouTube channels. We're on Cecilia's alter ego's YouTube, which is Kerrilynn Shellhorn, I believe, right? Right, Kerrilynn?
Yes. Yes. It is Spirit Switchboard.
That's right.
Spirit Switchboard. And then Kerrilynn Shellhorn. Yeah.
And mine is the Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin. We are also streaming on our network's main YouTube, which is UFO, Paranormal, and United Public Radio Network. So you can find us on one of those. Those are usually the easiest to find, I find. Oh, so as I asked the question earlier, Sparky was giving us an answer here.
Yes, and I have noticed it has affected somewhere. Some people are getting ODD, if you will. I think people are getting overloaded. Well, I personally feel like those people where there's no accountability, the light is shining bright, and they are scrambling, trying to find something cover to hide underneath, like a cockroach. And we're just seeing the cockroaches.
And I'm seeing it everywhere, but that's good. You know why? Because that's kind of the way the energy is going. Oh, you put your glasses on too. Good girl.
But if I put my glasses on, I can't read.
And we can see the screen, and see, that's why I wore these ones tonight, because there's no lenses.
Yeah. These are my actual glasses, but I need them for far away. Hello, Denise Mitz. Thank you for being here. Hi, Mish. Good day, all listening. I've noticed the moon has moved more to the south. Have a good show. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us. Let's see. Everybody's saying hi. We got here. I hope I didn't miss anybody.
Hi, Kirby's 100. Jackie Collins, thank you so much for being here. She's saying hi, ladies.
Okay, so I didn't jump in here with this. So I'll jump in quick with Sparky's. They said, oh, yes, red licorice. Oh, so murder?
Oh, how to spell the licorice.
I got you with that. But you know what? I am addicted, and I'm not type of licorice. It tastes like if you've ever had a creamsicle with that really lovely orange lolly ice, creamy vanilla on the inside. They make that in licorice. And I didn't grab any because I could live on that. I'm not kidding. I never am without it because it's so good. I love red licorice too.
Yeah, red licorice, and it has to be soft.
Yes.
It has to be soft. Nachos.
Yes, I love
I think
nachos.
goopy cheese. Goopy cheese is just good. Michelle
I always
Wilfong.
have nacho. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say hello. Michelle Wilfong is saying hello.
And Michelle, I'm going to tell you, we're not on TikTok again. Somebody was messing around with things on there. So we got another Monday night. Hopefully I'll have it back. But I don't know what's going on there, but we were doing well on there last week. Really, really well. But I'm going to give Michelle Wilfong a huge shout out because she is my mod over on TikTok, does a fantastic job. She has an incredible channel of her own on TikTok, and she shares many, many videos and strange things that happen in her haunted apartment. So I wanted to give her a shout out. Let's see. Oh, Mish says she's still in bed because she's in the future, because it's in Australia and it's Friday morning over there. Oh,
nice.
So Connie's sharing what she likes to have. Do you want to read that or no?
Sharing licorice, caramel chocolate, and buttery popcorn.
Oh, yes, butter. I should apologize. I forgot to let you
know.
all know.
I've gone to the movie theater.
Go ahead, Kerrilynn. Go ahead. It's me. I was just going to say we got a thunderstorm coming, but please share. Go ahead.
Does it affect does it affect it for you? Does it make it do the glitchy thing?
When I have thunderstorm, yeah. I've even got my Wi-Fi extender in. Yep, it's working. So, but you said when you go to the movie theater.
What were you I was going to say sometimes I just go to the movie theater to buy Sometimes I go to the movie theater just to buy popcorn and bring it home to watch movies. I don't even buy them, like go to the movies. Sometimes I just go to buy the popcorn and bring it home.
You know what? That's a good idea. But I live on the north side of my city, and our main, we used to have a lot of different movie theaters. We just have one super major movie theater in the middle of the city, because that's a really good idea. Because I can't even remember the last time I was at a movie theater, because it's just so much more comfy to be able to lay back. And if you have to pause it or whatever you have to do, right? And you can, yeah, I just prefer being.
I love the movie theater. I love going to the movies. I love watching movies. I love playing air hockey before the show. So playing the video, like the arcade games at the theater. I love all of that. Hi, Lorraine. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Lorraine. It's not that I don't like it. It's just that ever since I've hurt my back, the seats are really hard for me to sit in, and it's just a lot more comfy. Plus, it's an experience. Like, you have to plan for it, right? Because it's really gone up in price. I know since we were kids, I know at least me, when I was a kid, you'd go to the movies for almost nothing, right?
Yeah.
So,
it's my time out. Nachos. Yes, Sparky.
And there's just some movies that you have to see on a big screen. You're just not going to get the experience watching it especially for the first time on, your TV or a tablet or a phone. So I agree. Making sure we're not missing. I don't even know what those are. Do you, Cecilia? Mrs. sharing?
No. Mrs. sharing Jaffas, roll them down the rows.
They must be something round then. I'm not sure. Now we're learning about everybody's different treats. Okay, Connie. Yes, that's exactly best kind of licorice, I think. She's saying definitely Twizzlers.
Twizzlers.
Uh-oh. I just said this before we went live, Lorraine. If you want to read that, Kerrilynn.
Lorraine is sharing, I love the smell of popcorn, but I don't like to eat it. It gets stuck in my teeth.
I just said that before we went live. Oops, I highlighted it. Yes, I think we're... Oh, Mish says her daughter works at the cinema. Oh, and Michelle Wilf on TikTok behaving badly. Well, I don't know if it's TikTok so much. I think it might be some interesting characters participating. We'll leave it at that. Sorry, were we going to say something?
Mish explained what the Jaffas are. If you go
Let
down
me
just
get
a little
in
bit
there.
more. Yeah,
Oh,
they have
okay.
comfortable seats in the cinema, like recliners. Yeah, some of them do here as well too, and then they've got the seats that move, like they rock back and forth and tilt with the action. So we tend to get those ones as well too. Mish is sharing Jaffa oranges hard outside with chocolate inside.
Mm. I know. Well, I shouldn't say that. I have not been to the movie theater in a long time, but I'm sure I would have heard from somebody if we had made an improvement. Don't get me wrong, they are nice seats, but I know that those exist more so in Southern Ontario. Now that's an experience. You got those kind of seats.
Oh my gosh, my kids are older.
Mhm.
When they were small, we lived in Edmonton, and Edmonton. So my oldest is 32. So when he was much younger,
Mhm.
6. He was
Mhm.
6, I think, when we lived in Edmonton. There was a dollar theater. So when they were done, when the movies were done, their run, they would play at like the dollar theater, and I used to take them all the time. It was just a nice night out, even or an
Yeah.
afternoon, right?
See, now I couldn't do that because my youngest couldn't tolerate noise or crowds or people.
Yeah,
So
I don't think they did like the Twilight movies back then where it was meant like they quiet everything down for neurodivergent people or neurodivergent kids. They have special ones now that
I think they
for
do,
people.
but when
Hmm.
he was little, plus he didn't even really like to go out. I still remember when I got him. Now, some people may not know who this band is. They're Canadian, Simple Plan, and it was his favorite band. Even before he was verbal, he loved that band and he would listen to it. And I spent weeks. I met the most wonderful people from around the world, and I ended up getting a chance to bring my two boys to meet them when they were here for their concert, and they signed a bunch of stuff. Long story short, about a year or two ago, my partner Dell's best friend he's assistant news director for our news here, and they sometimes get tickets. And Simple Plan came back, and I actually was able to bring Justin. He actually went, and I have video of him. And that's a first big event he was ever able to go to. And it was so cute to see pictures of him so little with the band, and then so many years later, grown up with it too. It was quite the
And that's a
experience.
great memory for you.
It is. And
And the
him. Well,
pictures are great because you've shown me those pictures, which is
yes.
wonderful.
Mhm.
Denise Smith, nibs and caramel bars. I like caramel bars after they've been in the fridge.
You know what? I cannot stop. I have a real sweet tooth as I've gotten older. The salted caramel bars. They kind of
Mm,
take. I haven't tried them in the fridge. They might be really good because I do like caramel bars too. Mhm.
yeah. Um,
Boy, oh boy. So we're right at the bottom. So Contessa sharing, I can't handle very busy theaters. I go late at night when there aren't too many people. That's a good idea.
we
Hmm.
do too. And like you can pre-book your tickets now as well
Hmm.
too.
Yep.
So, we tend to go right to the very back and and it's those bigger seats and it's just the night out with my son. Doesn't happen as frequently now that he's older, but it was nice. And
Uh,
I go by myself. I have no problem going to the movies on my own. I even better sometimes because then I'm not sharing snacks.
yeah.
I'm not sharing snacks, and I don't have to worry about like other stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
I go to the movies on my own all the time.
I think the last movie I saw on the big screen might have been one of the Lord of the Rings movies or one of the last
Mm,
Twilight movies. Yeah, it's been that long. Hmm. Yeah.
wow.
Long time. Like I said, and again, it's just really hard for me to sit. And it's easier because you just kind of. I don't watch that many movies. If I do, I'm doing something when
Mhm.
I'm doing it. I'm not usually just sitting down.
Right. Yeah, I'll multitask too, but I love movies. I
Mhm.
love movies. So, and I'm one of those people, I don't know, you guys in the chat, do you finish watching all of the credits or do you leave before the credits are done? Do you watch the credits of the movies?
Absolutely. Because more than likely there's usually some little Easter egg or quite a few in there. Uh-huh. Mhm.
Yeah, and I had a kid that went to school for audio engineering, so I always just feel like watching all of that is important and respectful to everybody that's participating in making it, right, and creating it. Having a kid
That's
that
what my
was,
That's
yeah,
interesting. I never knew that till now because my eldest originally went to college for that.
yeah,
Mhm,
yeah.
mhm. Yeah, so there you go. Again, you know what? Those are it's kind of like when you have a band, right? Who gets all the attention? The lead singer. Nobody, unless you've
That's
got. Go ahead.
that's fun. You know, that's so funny because the same kid, when he was younger, he wanted to learn guitar so badly.
Yeah.
And I said, you start with acoustic and then I want you to learn bass. And he was frustrated because I wanted him to learn bass first. And I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, if you learn bass, you will always have a gig. You will always get to fill in. You will have a gig every weekend. But if you're just wanting to be the person that wails out front, like they're a dime a dozen. But
Yeah.
being a good bass player, do a gig every weekend. So that's what he did. That's what he did. The roadie tech. I mean, he's pretty musically gifted. So, but yeah, you're right about that.
Well, my
Right.
brother got all. I say my brother got all the music talent because he's never taken a music lesson. He can play any instrument, all self-taught, and he can sing. If you guys heard me sing, I'm named after the Lorelei's, the sirens that used to sing to cause sailors to crash into the rocks. You would crash into the rocks if I sang, so I wouldn't do that. Well,
So funny.
so shall we get into our content since we had a nice little visit and we heard about people's movie. We like when you guys share like this about your movie snacks and. Mhm.
Should we start with
Sure.
Did You Know?
Yeah, give me a minute. I think those are the ones that printed for me. You want to start first?
Mm. Okay,
Uh,
so do you want me to? I'll start with
okay.
the rumored. Well, I know that. Yeah, we'll start with the rumored. The rumored. I don't know if it's called ATUC.
I was surprised because we checked in with each other, obviously, that you
Mhm.
came up with that one too, because I'd never heard of this movie before. Had you?
I think it's called The Incredible Something. We need to look it up a little bit more. But anyway, it's the ATUC curse,
Hmm.
and so it's a legend that has taken off, and fan. I think that people, like when we talked about the show with Michelle,
Hmm.
where collectively everybody puts their energy in and makes it into
Hmm.
something bigger. And
Yeah.
so I have a feeling that this is it as well too, just because, oh my gosh, I need to see if I can find the other piece of paper, because there was other people that so it was a screenplay, and
Hmm.
there's all the lead actors that have read the screenplay had died. So
Hmm.
John Belushi was the first one, so he died
Yeah.
from a drug overdose in 82. Sam Kinison, who is a brilliant comedian,
Hmm.
with the voice. Everybody remember his voice.
Hmm.
So the production began in 1988, but it halted, and then he died in 1992 in a car crash.
Hmm.
John Candy, our beloved John Candy. I'm so excited
Yes.
for making a movie about him.
Hmm.
Was what does that say? Attached in 1994 and then died of a heart attack in March of 94.
Yeah.
Michael O'Donoghue, writer associate, read the script and then died that year of a cerebral hemorrhage. Chris Farley, inspired by Belushi, read the script, died in 97 of an overdose. And Phil Hartman read the script around that time, and then he was unalived by his wife in 98. Now, that being said, there is a list of actors now that have read it, including Jack Black, who have not passed away, but that doesn't damper the talk or the belief or
But
the
it's still
fan
not
hope.
made. It's still not made yet,
It's
though,
still
either.
not made. It is still not made. So is it it's a high risk lifestyles with all of these people? Is it a curse? Is it because so many people are putting that energy into it? Coincidence?
But you know that in the circles that we play in, that one of the things we always say, or I've heard say, and I do say it myself, is there really are no such things as coincidences. There can be serendipitous events or what have you. And then we get back into that conversation from Wednesday night with Michelle. And by the way, Michelle DeRoche is coming up next, you guys, in less than 2 hours, but with the second night of the Outer Realm. But is it a curse? And then, interestingly enough, this really doesn't have anything to do with movies, but it came up in some reels today when I was watching and getting ready for things today for the show. And it's called the 100th monkey theory, I think it is. So apparently there were these monkeys that, and I've talked about this before, I think on the Angel Rock, but there were these monkeys there, and I think they were a type of baboon, but they were on an island and they would like to eat their fruit a lot, but it would end up in the dirt and things like that. Well, one I think it was baboons. So one, it was a baboon or orangutans. I think orangutans. So he decided, I think the fruit would taste better if I washed it in the seawater. So he started to do that and then started to teach his family members to do this. And pretty soon, the whole island, the whole community of the orangutans was washing their fruit. But what they started noticing, because this behavior had never been observed in this particular type of orangutan, all around the world, all of a sudden, all groups of orangutans were washing their fruit that didn't come from that island, that were on the other side of the world. And so the theory is, right, if everything is universal consciousness. Now, I know universal consciousness does not necessarily go along with a curse, but if everybody is connected, that would mean, and everything's energy, and it's got to go from one place to another. We can't make it or destroy it. Does it start to gather and collect, kind of, and build? And so then when it's basically what you perceive becomes what you believe, and it becomes your reality.
And everybody likes a good conspiracy. I think we all like having a little bit of controlled, selective, that's drama, or in another way, it's drama that's, not creating karma. But
I like how you just said that. Yeah, because I know you do, I know I do, I know a fair amount of people that I know don't like to get into drama. So I like that you said drama without the karma. Same thing I said, I'm not crazy about conspiracy theory because it tends to, or conspiracy, because it really can sometimes have a negative connotation. And I know that that's not what you meant. But I prefer truth seeking, but I could handle conspiracy in this. Yes, absolutely. Without
Greg, we did. If you want to, Greg is just sharing. Check out Return to Babylon.
Okay.
So that's wasn't that on your list? Return to Babylon was on your list?
I think it might have been. I have so many on here. Let me find it while we're talking here.
And there's a lot. There is a lot of movies that have a religious context or religious connection that had weird, unexplainable things happen. High strangeness, paranormal stuff have even had. Do you have it?
You have a better memory than me. I went through all of these with you. I have so many, and good thing Cecilia deserves a round of applause, 2 thumbs up, because she remembered. I didn't remember, even it's on my list. Okay, so thank you for that,
Don't
Greg.
skip it.
So, Return to Babylon from 2013. Some of the incidents. This silent horror film, shot on an old school black and white camera, reportedly captured demonic looking distortions of actors' faces on film, noticed during playback. Director Alex Monty Kanawati, I think it is, found the camera in a mysterious bag, adding to the eerie narrative. The incidents were so unsettling that they contributed to the film's cursed reputation. Even when we talk about a curse, oh, go ahead, Kerrilynn.
Oh no, keep going.
No,
I'm listening.
there's there's a lot of, depending on who you talk to. I have met people that say there is no such thing as curses, that's BS. And then, you know, there's others who will say there absolutely is a curse. I think there can be, because again, even going to the 100th monkey theory that I just shared, that has nothing to do with cursed films. But I also know I've heard of familial curses. And then you even get into people that are very, very intuitive or psychic medium, and it passes down the family line. And I remember, he's no longer alive, but Dr. Chuck Kennedy was actually doing a study because he noticed that, say, people that identify with being a psychic or a medium or using intuitive gifts regularly, most of them were women. A large portion had autoimmune issues. And he was even looking into, is it being passed along through the maternal, it's called the maternal mitochondria, basically genetic cells, that is that how this is being passed down. So the same thing with a curse, though. Could it also travel along the same pathways as, say, intuitive abilities do? Is it belief? What is it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I am going to tread carefully.
Okay.
So yeah, just going to tread carefully, because there's lots of people who believe they can be cursed, right? And um and even I had somebody tell me that I was cursed. That I was cursed by God 10 generations back, and that is why I have the ability to do the things or that's why I have this ability, right?
I agree with you with that. And I think it goes back to, and I've said it so many times, and it's not mine. Spirit gave this to me. I think if it's what you perceive becomes what you believe, and it becomes your reality.
And again, it's about if you believe it can happen, so then you are,
Mhm.
um, your thoughts are creating that for sure, the energy, and so clear, canceling, delete. Oh, we just had a big thing of thunder too.
Did you?
Yeah,
Oh,
perfect.
wow.
Let's talk haunted. So, I mean, Curse of Babylon. So, then religious belief systems, what's passed down to us, story, all of that stuff. I don't know if it's genetic. I don't know if it gets passed
But
down
if
that.
it's energy, I don't say genetic in that sense. But when I was talking about, and he, like I say, he's no longer with us, Dr. Chuck Kennedy, it wasn't that it was genetic. It was almost, and I'm not doing this justice. He was looking to see, could it possibly something be carried along with it, but not necessarily a gene. Because as far as I know, there's no gene that's ever been identified for psychic ability or mediumship. But I also believe that every one of us as human beings are very intuitive, whether people believe it or not, right? And you'll hear people say, I'm going to trust my gut. I'm going to follow my gut on this. That's your intuition, right? Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I don't know what the
You want
answer
me?
is.
Well, I don't necessarily feel um, that I buy into curses
Yeah.
as well too.
Mhm.
And when we're talking about the movies and stuff like that, I mean, it does the movie well. If you attach that kind of story to it, everybody gobbles it up, and people are going to drive like in
Mhm.
numbers to see those sort of movies and to participate And so in the end, it still does them good. Oh, did you want me to read that, Greg? Thank you for continuing to share. So Greg is continuing to share about that. There was no film either, and a big bag of this old film appeared at his car at a Hollywood party.
Ooh. It's the same thing, and I know we're not talking about this, but have you heard that we're getting weird stuff tonight, everybody? And we apologize because you just had thunder. I think it was Jen Blue. I'm going to scroll a bit down, but I noticed you said you're jealous because you have no thunder. But we get weird, odd stuff. We just had some double speak back or over talk. It wasn't an EVP, it was just playback. We haven't got thunder yet, but it's out there. So
let's so Greg is sharing it appeared in his car at an old Hollywood party. He's sharing to match the old camera. If we skip down a couple, he said Dr. Chuck is an old friend of mine, Project Psi.
I was part of that. Well, I didn't work with him, Greg, but I had him on it's my 6-year anniversary this week on UPRN, and the first couple 6 months I had him on. Absolutely adored him. I have taken his remote viewing course and talked quite a bit with him off air as well about his work, and I was so sad to hear that he's no longer with us because I just loved him. I really, really did. He was a nurse, but he had a doctorate. And Greg, you can definitely correct me, but I believe it was in neurophysiology, I think it was. And I thought it was lovely. I thought it was great. I want to say lovely. It was great that he was really taking a different approach to looking at what could possibly contribute to people, say what you do, I do, and other people. And I have noticed that a lot of people within this field, and not just women, do seem to have, whether it's fibromyalgia or it could be another autoimmune issue. And then he also, there's a video, I believe, still up there with a friend of mine too, Katrina Cooper, who's a medium. And Dr. Kennedy, or Dr. Chuck, as he calls him, I call him that too. He used an EEG to help map the brain. I remember still when he was on my show, because he was such a character. He said, because you haven't given me $1 million, Lorilei, so I can go out and buy a CT scan to do it the right way. So how did they map the brain in the olden days? And he actually was able to verify where and when Katrina was connecting with spirit. In the office he was in, I believe he had told me this quite a few years ago, he knew there were known spirits that resided there. So, and he ended up mapping the area of the brain. It's always stuck with me, right behind the left ear, and he called it the region of Psi, and he believed that that's where psychic ability within the brain actually mapped out. And these are really interesting.
That's interesting. That's where I feel a lot, where I tell people communication comes in from, is right in here.
Yeah, I miss them. Thanks for sharing that, Greg. I really appreciate that, because I didn't know that.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sparky. I'm gonna share.
Oh, please do, go ahead, and I'll start this. For Misha's got a question, so go ahead.
Yeah, just because we were talking about believing in curses or what curses are, and so Sparky is just sharing. So a curse is also the same as a psychic attack. It's an sorry.
I'm trying to find it. Where is it here? I saw it too. Oh, hi, Carrie. Oh, Carrie's here too. We got lots of people popping in that we haven't said hi to, but go ahead, please.
A curse is also the same as a psychic attack. It's an emotion with energy pushed out on someone if they have the energy, or they use ill ways of calling the energy. Agreed to all of that. I feel though, like I've had people reach out to me to say that they have been cursed, and we can send that energy to people. And if they are in a low place, that can attach.
Agreed.
And if they believe it can attach, then it does. And when you empower them and give them the tools to push it back with a little bit of back,
Yeah.
it usually can work itself out too, right?
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. Like, I don't want people to be scared that they have no autonomy or they don't have self-empowerment, because we all do, right?
Mm-hmm. He also added, so of course, it's someone that can move or transfer energy, or they tap into something they don't understand to get the energy, in their opinion, his opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So we've got people down below. Sorry, I meant to highlight them. So Jen Blue is here. I'm going to star you too, Connie, because I see your comment there. That's a good one. There was somebody else I seen. Your friend is here, Carrie. I saw her as I'm scrolling around.
Oh, I haven't seen. Hi, Carrie. Thank you for being here.
You know, more down to the bottom. We
Hi,
got
more.
I will find her. Deanne Daly.
Hi, Deanne.
Nice to meet you. Let's see. Let's see where else. I just saw Carrie. Let me scroll up. Carrie, where are you? I seen you. I know I saw you. I did see her. Oh, did I see it? Did I see it? Oh, I just went. Oh, Julie Jean Bassett is here. Hello, Julie. Nice to see you. Don't forget to check Julie out. That'll teach me eating popcorn while I'm live. Julie is an incredible animal communicator, both earthside as well as mediumship wise, as well as with human beings, and a shamanic practitioner. So you can reach out to her on juliejeanbassett.com. More for the animal communication stuff. And both of us have worked with, had Julie work with our animals. I can tell you with my animals, it's been a life-changing thing. I've also taken her animal communication course. And I forget who I was saying this to today. I think it was you last night. I was saying to you about my memory, and I said, I don't know what it is, but I am planning on committing to memory your new website, Julie. So please share it in the chat. I did see Carrie, I swear. So Carrie, if you're there, please say hi again, because I just saw you. I know I did. Now I feel silly because I did see her. So we had a couple questions. Do you want me to pull those up?
Yeah, I'm going to read this did you know fact while you pull up the question. Okay. So the Twilight Zone, the movie, so Vic Morrow and 2 child actors were killed in a horrific helicopter crash. And I remember watching a documentary about that. And so, is it cursed? Is it supernatural? Or, negligence? Just systematic negligence. But that experience changed. It created new rules for child labor, safety, responsibility on the set. Is anybody in the chat saw part of that docuseries or documentary about that? It was pretty horrible.
I had.
Happy Thursday.
Hello.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Well, I know that, Mish, you've mentioned a few. You know what? I've said this with Kerrilynn, and I think we've said it to y'all. We could really do about 3 or 4 shows on every topic. And that's the fun in it, because you can also let us know if there's a topic you want us to revisit again, or we can do it again once we've, even if we have some time spread out in between and go back to some of the stuff that we haven't been able to, talk to you, but, that we weren't able to cover in the first show. So Mish is asking, have you got the movies Crossroads and Eddie and the Cruisers? Not sure if anything bad around those movies, but what they were about was interesting.
I didn't see it on anything that I came across, but there are a lot. There's a lot of movies where there was just such a high amount of strangeness, paranormal activity, personal tragedies that happened, and unexplainable. Some of it unexplainable. Contessa Martins is sharing, wasn't a cast member from Poltergeist cursed as well too, or more than one? I think one of the cast was unalived, if I remember correctly. I think there was 2.
I've got stuff with poltergeist.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have stuff too, Kerrilynn? I can't remember if you had that one or not.
All I have is one little fact that I know off the top of my head is that they did not tell the actress at the end of the movie that played the mom that was in the pool that was dug out, that it was actual human bones that were in the pool in that. So that's
I
the
have
only fact. The two actors, but you can share that.
Okay, so it says the Poltergeist trilogy, so 1982 to 1988. The Poltergeist series is infamous for its curse. So exactly what you said about the human skeleton. It said often linked to the use of real human skeletons in the scene where Jo Beth Williams obviously falls into the pool, what you just mentioned. Dominique Dunn, and in brackets, Dana Freeling, was unalived by her ex-boyfriend in 1982, shortly after the first film's release. And this was really famous. I remember when this happened. Heather O'Rourke, she played Carol Ann, died at the age of 12 from a misdiagnosed intestinal condition before the third film's release. And if you are a truth seeker, all I will say is you might want to dig a little deeper into that. You hear some interesting things. None of it I can say is truth or not, but it's just very sad that she was so young, that little girl. I did see some of those movies, actually, even though I don't care for spooky movies, and she was so adorable. I just remember her saying, "They're here," or something to that effect. There's a few
And
more
just a
things.
weird.
Oh, go ahead.
With
Go ahead.
Poltergeist, there's a few things.
Go
I was
ahead.
just gonna say, in a weird little. Yeah.
Go ahead.
In a weird little side note, if anybody follows along with Skinwalker Ranch, watches any of it, interested in it, all of that stuff, I signed my mom and I up to be part of like their online group, like last summer, the summer before, I don't remember, but it's been a while. Because my mom loves it as well too. And so Brandon, who owns that property, actually purchased the clown doll from the Poltergeist. So the one that we see in the movie and all of that stuff. So when they would do they still do, like they'll go live on their Discord, and he had it like propped up behind him while they're doing all these like conversations and Q&As.
Oh my goodness. Yes, Jen, there's Blind Frog Ranch. I know we have that on our list. We have that on our list that we're going to dig.
Yeah.
There's another ranch, Bradshaw Ranch, too. I know all of these ranches. We got all kinds of topics. If y'all have some ideas, too, that you want us to talk about, you're more than welcome to share them either in the chat, or we do have when we do we're just about at that time to do our station ID, because Kerrilynn so kindly shared her email. But let me just finish off Poltergeist. There's a few other things here. So, had Carol Ann dying of a misdiagnosed intestinal condition before the third film release. Other deaths included Julian Beck, a stomach cancer, and Will Sampson, surgery complications. Crew members reported unexplained anxiety and very eerie feelings on set. So that was intriguing.
And the popular ghost investigation show that people with the black t-shirt guy.
Mr. Tight T-shirt wearing, I was called.
He just investigated that house, actually.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, they just investigated that house. And again, the collective consciousness, if we all believe that there is going to be hauntings there because we've watched the movie and we've all projected that. And the owner, before they sold it, because it was the new owner that has it, that let them in, it was like redone completely, right? So just changed, but it doesn't change the energy. And I thought that there was, and correct me as well too, that there was connection to indigenous peoples where that land is as well too.
So shall we do our station ID before we head into? We have so many movies on here, like way back in the day.
Oh, so Mish, it is exciting with like being part of those conversations. And one of the things with that group in particular that was fun for my mom, not necessarily for me, but my, like, because I just love Tom, but you can log on at any point in time at of the day and watch their security cameras. So if you see activity happening, you log it, so that it's kind of like a boots on the ground, right? So it's kind of that boots on the ground concept.
Is it a paid Discord, Kerrilynn? Is it a paid Discord? I would think it
Yeah,
would
you
be.
pay. Yeah, so I paid for my mom and I for like a year at a time, but it's definitely been worth it for both of us. So let's do. Um, oh, Jen Blue is saying they say that's why the poltergeist was cursed, because they used those bones. They say it was cursed because they used the bones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Alrighty, our station ID. So if you are just joining us now, thank you so much for being here. If you've been following along, you have been listening to Beneath the Hollow Moon with your hosts, Bertha and Cecilia.
We forgot to change our names, actually. I got to do that now.
So it is Lorilei Potvin and Kerrilynn Shellhorn, sort of alter ego movie critics, while we talk about real curses and haunted movies. And you are listening to us live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 in the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in beautiful New Orleans. And if you are liking this show, please consider subscribing to our channels, The Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin and Spirit Switchboard with Kerrilynn Shellhorn. And you can head to uprntalkradio.com to find out all of the different shows that our network has. There's always something new happening, and there are thousands of archives, like for as long as the network has been going, which is a long time. And you can find all of those there. And Sparky's Paranormal Outdoors is here as well too, saying don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell to all, moosh that like button and hit that heart button on the right side of the window, chat and share. Thank you so much, Sparky, for that. And thank you everybody that's here. And we are deep diving down into haunted movies, haunted scripts, cursed movies. Do we believe in curses? How does the curse happen? And the stories connected to them.
And could it be, before we answer or read Mish's question, this just hit me too. Again, if we go back to everything on this planet is made of energy. One of the laws of energy is it can neither be created nor destroyed, but it can be moved from one place to another. And then we almost get into a completely different show. So I'm not trying to go down a different rabbit hole, but we also see where there are places that it's notorious where a lot of tragedy has happened, that we tend to see sometimes some very active paranormal activity. Could that kind of happen too? That, with people talking about it, people, really with their energy also. And then if you have accidents or you have things that happened, could the land also be holding it too? Because I know I see clips of people talking about this, like actors of really weird, creepy stuff, like nightmares. And I don't know. So what do you think?
For sure. And where are they getting their materials? Are the material, like, we know that wood and water, like things hold energy. So, and filling in the house, like the TV, that Carol Ann goes into. Was the TV originally haunted to begin with, or attached, where there's energy attached to it? So then the concept of the movie and the energy and the things that they're talking. And not only that, the words that they're saying during the time together. So does their words create the experience? Because we all know our words are spells.
And then I just thought of this too. What if some of the movie sets that they're on or they've created, there's an underground body of water coupled with intersecting ley lines? Now, and what I'm saying with that for people listening, that's not going to cause paranormal activity, but I know that sometimes, especially depending on the type of ley lines, if there are a lot, I've seen it, not always, but it can interfere with your natural, I would call it your aura or your energy field. So maybe that's why, we just even touched on, if you were that people were reporting feeling kind of creeped out or anxious. Is it almost interfering
Mhm.
like of EMF sort of thing? Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Mish,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think that I just Mish is sharing wonder if when writing the scripts for some of these cursed movies, if it's been in the spelling spells.
Yeah.
Yes.
I actually had this conversation with my partner when my youngest was alive, because he liked to play a lot of movies, like on, or not movies, sorry, gaming online. And he wasn't playing, really nasty adult games, but there's a lot of games where they could play together, people online. And there's a lot of sigils and a lot of old legend and lore and languages and behind. And I actually had this conversation saying, do we
Mhm.
even know what these, like a quest, they're going on a quest as a group, and they're picking up, say, certain types of scrolls, and you see the writing or it's read out to you by the video, and do you even know what that really means, right?
Mhm.
Same thing with the
Or
movie.
exactly what that person's intentions were when they created it, or their energy as well too. Contessa Martins is sharing the movie sets of the movie The Conjuring are blessed by a priest before they begin filming. It's
Mm-hmm.
true. There's also activity that happened, in particular with the Annabelle movies. So the Annabelle within the Conjuring. So there's reports of light fixtures falling, the doll moving. Did you have more?
Yeah, give me
Did
a
you have
sec. I'll
more
find
connections
it.
at all?
I can find it. Give me a sec. I have so many in here, you guys. So thank you for your patience with me. And I did have it printed, but my printer decided not to print this part of it. It printed the did you knows, but it did not print the facts. I will find it. Because there's even the Wizard of Oz, the Crow, Rebel Without a Cause. I'm looking for it, guys. The Passion of the Christ. The one I don't know if I had so much with the Conjuring, but what I did have was the Exorcist, a bit of The Exorcist.
Mm. Well, that I mean that goes with that as well too, with a priest blessing. But I know with Annabelle in particular, the doll was reported to move on its own, and there were light fixtures that fell during like Annabelle shoots, and it
There
wasn't
was,
even the real doll.
I know, but does it go back to the 100 monkey theory that enough people think it is the same thing with a Ouija board or a talking board? There are so many bad stories about them. Whereas I think that if you've been taught how to use it properly, it's just a communication tool, right? But there's a
Mm.
collective energy, thought, belief system around it, just as there would be with the Bible. And I'm going from one end to the other, right? It's believed to be a very powerful book that means a lot to a lot of people. So again, collective energy beliefs, right? And talking about it, gathering together, right, with the, say, the Bible. So what one do you want to do
Oh,
next then?
the, the Exorcist. Let's finish up with the priest's blessing.
Okay. So a well-known cursed movie set. So what I have is The Exorcist, and I confess I have never seen that movie, and I have no desire to see it. Um, it was filmed in 1973, so some of the incidents are widely regarded as one of Hollywood's most infamously cursed movie productions. The Exorcist faced numerous unsettling events. A fire destroyed most of the set, except for Reagan's bedroom. That was the little girl that needed the
Mhm.
exorcism, for anybody that didn't see it like myself. um, Delaying production for 6 weeks. 9 people associated with the film reportedly died during or shortly after production, including actors Jack McGowran and Vasiliki Miliaros, I think, a cameraman's stillborn child, and Linda Blair's grandfather. Injuries were frequent, with Ellen Burstyn suffering a permanent spinal injury. A Jesuit priest was brought in to bless the set after crew members reported inexplicable anxiety and electrical issues. Some attribute the I'll say quote unquote, curse to the film's demonic subject matter. And then it goes on further into the did you know facts that even though they kept bringing a priest in to bless the set, things still kept happening, basically.
And the same with the movie Nefarious.
I don't have that one on my list, so you go ahead with that one. Because I don't know anything about that.
So Nefarious was 2023 movie. So there were 8 vehicle accidents among the crew in the first 11 days. Equipment malfunctions. A Catholic priest was brought on set, suffered a ruptured appendix, and was near death before surgery. Squirrels entering the Airbnb and destroying the nativity scene. Just the nativity scene.
Goodness gracious. Are you serious?
And a roof blowing off one of the offices. So this comes, is it spiritual warfare? Is it the belief? Is it an actual curse? It's a whole lot that went on with that. And then I feel that's a good segue to go into Passion of the Christ. Because that's some weirdness too.
Oh, high strangeness. I even got Rebel Without a Cause. I have Passion of the Christ right here anyway, so too. You got stuff you want to read, or you want me to read it and share?
I've got nothing. You had so much information with Passion of the Christ. There was no reason for me to. I didn't. Hi, Vet Girl 84. Thank you for being here. So you take the lead. I know some of it just because I know some of it, but I didn't research it.
So Heidi Gall says she says I'm back. So welcome back. So The Passion of the Christ, and again, another movie I have not seen. Of course, my computer decides let's update right now. Just stopped it. But okay, so it was out in 2004. Incidents. This biblical epic, directed by Mel Gibson, faced multiple bizarre incidents, and even before, from my research, he ended up having to fund that movie out of pocket. Nobody wanted to touch it with a 10-foot pole. So he did. And it says, lead actor Jim Caviezel, he was virtually unknown when he got that role, who played Jesus, was struck by lightning while filming the Sermon on the Mount, as was the assistant director, I think it's Michelini or Jan, maybe, Michelini. So, and the director, it says, was struck twice by lightning. So 3 people struck by lightning on that scene. And then Caviezel also suffered a dislocated shoulder when a 130-pound cross fell on him. He also got hypothermia and pneumonia. Sorry, I'm trying to read and not have my cat's tail in my mouth. Thank you, Stephen Nicole. Anyways, I'll go back to the hypothermia and pneumonia from filming nearly naked and freezing conditions. He also suffered severe migraines from makeup that swelled one eye shut, and an accidental lash during a whipping scene that left a 14-inch scar still to this day. 2 audience members reportedly died of heart attacks during screenings, and some speculate the film's graphic violence and religious content provoked divine disapproval, though Caviezel viewed the incidents as a spiritual test, and he reported miracles, such as a crew member's daughter being nearly cured of epilepsy. Now, that's an interesting thing with myself coming from a medical background, being a nurse. I don't know how you could nearly be cursed with epilepsy. Yeah. You either are or you're not.
Yeah. What does nearly mean?
Yeah. Oh, this is a good question, Michelle. This is a good question. Michelle comes up, all of you do, but I know her name is Michelle. She goes by Mish. I think this is a really good question. Do you want to read it?
Mish is asking, fun question. If you had to give your life a movie title, what would yours be?
I can't say the cursey words on air. My life is not all rainbows and unicorn poop. But I'm grateful for it and I love it. It would be a long title. about that.
That's funny.
Yes.
I think mine got taken. Mine was taken already. Mine was used. Never ending story.
Mine,
that girl 84, never ending story, exactly.
Or mine was too. I just had it. I lost it. Oh, the Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What's next? Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's great.
Let's hear yours too. Let's hear yours in the audience. Oh, go ahead, please. Sorry, Kerrilynn.
Contessa is sharing the movie A Dark Song performs an actual Aleister Crowley Abramelin ritual. It's an intense watch. I felt a little strange watching this movie. Yes, I can imagine you felt strange watching that movie. And so is there, or should there be, rules, boundaries? Are there ethical, moral consequences?
Easier to read. Go ahead. I was just changing the font, talking to myself. Go ahead. I said it'll be easier to read. Please continue. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just like, how do you feel about those things? If it's art, can we, intervene that way? There's free speech. Should there be limits to those sorts of things if we feel there's that potential for something to go sideways? Practical magic for you, The Shining, Jack Nicholson.
Oh yeah, we got all kinds. I was going to hit that up after I answered that, and would love to hear people's thoughts too. So I think it's always going to be allowed to be what it is, and us as the consumer, it's up to us to educate ourselves and make those choices, because I don't know how you would ever stop or control it. It would be nice, because we've even seen, if you've lived long enough, with the rating systems back in the day with music, Tipper Gore, I remember, was a huge one about that. Mm-hmm. There was a big kerfuffle about it, right? Or we haven't even got into music. We haven't even talked about that, playing records backwards, and we could go on and on. Maybe that's another show, another time. But the thing is, it didn't stop things with the rating system on music. I don't even see it unless it's very, very explicit. Go ahead, Kerry.
Yeah, and I know people are going to do things anyway. So then it becomes that education part. So is there a warning? Do they need to tell you that, there are things in this that could affect you? Open the door.
I guess it depends on marketing, because like you said, with these rumors of what's happened with the filming or making of a movie, it will usually draw in a large global crowd, depending on where you live, because you want to see it. You want to feel it for yourself. Is there something else behind just the story? So I guess it would depend on clever marketing. Yeah. I don't think the warning labels ever stopped anybody, is what I'm saying.
No, like in my head, I know that I talk about this quite a bit, but I repeat the word love. So if I was watching that and I'm hearing them perform an actual, even if it feels like it's starting to go somewhere, anything where it feels like it's starting to open up something or feel a little, for me, I just keep repeating the word love in my head. Like I can't, like la 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 la, but I'm just gonna do love. Like a Care Bear shooting out from my chest. Yes. Just blast it so that rubber bubble with slime sliding off.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Shall we read some people's movie life stories?
Sure.
Let's see. I'm rolling back here. I think we got Never Ending Story, said Vet Girl 84, like you. Mish says, what's next? You want to? I'll stop reading. I'll highlight if you want. Go ahead. You can read.
300. This is Sparta. That was a great movie. Vet Girl 84.
Yeah.
Mish, housework, never ending story. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That girl, Labyrinth, David Bowie's version. It's
I love
great.
that. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's a good one. That's a good one, Heidi.
Heidi Goal. The
We
Shite
can.
Show and
There
the
you go.
lessons I've learned, tests I've passed. Never ever again.
Oh, okay. There you go, that girl. Another one.
The Shining Jack Nicholson version, of course.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that. They're supposed to be doing a second movie of this. Go ahead. You were going to read it. Sorry.
Contessa Martin's Practical Magic for me. I have never seen it yet.
Oh, it's such a cool movie for Halloween. That's why I really get so disappointed when they either remake a classical movie that's been around, even if it was 20 or 30 years ago, or you try to build off of something that was just fine standing alone. Like it never needed a sequel. And it's kind of
Mm.
that's what this is. Mhm. There's a few other titles, I think, quickly here. Um, I'm just reading. Oh, everybody's talking now about backwards masking, love reverse speech. And then Connie added with the question you asked, Kerrilynn, I think they add in those actual rituals on purpose.
Mm. Well, if there is a bigger organization that's influencing through media to influence people, yep, maybe. That girl 84, Hacksaw Ridge, Desmond Doss, gotta save one more.
I like Greg's.
This is awesome. That's awesome, Greg, flying by the
I
seat
like
of your
that.
pants.
I like that. And then he said the other one would be.
Me and my guides. Oh, that's brilliant.
I love it.
I just envision a beautiful dog at the same time. Subliminal messages.
Oh,
I have not watched it, and I realize that I should. I have watched lots of. It's pretty surprising the things that I haven't watched actually, and that was one of them. What's the other one that everyone watches? There was part 2 was just made with the 3 witches, dark haired, redhead.
oh, I know who that is. I've seen them and I know who it is. And now with Bette
Bette
Midler,
Midler. Mm-hmm.
Sarah Jessica Parker,
Mm.
and Kathy Najimy. And somebody's going to put it in the chat. I know they are. I
Yeah,
know they are.
I watched it for the very first time last year.
I didn't care for they didn't
Hocus
need it.
Pocus.
Didn't
Thank you
Hocus Pocus. Thank you, that girl.
for
It didn't need
being a movie lover. I didn't watch it.
thank you, everyone. It didn't need a sequel. I thought it was, when you've got a movie that don't get me wrong, it's not super spooky or scary. It's a kids movie, but and everybody's watched it. It just didn't need a sequel, I didn't think.
There's a new generation, right? So
Yeah,
it updated for the new generation.
but it's not so much updated. It picked up where the story is left off and continued. And that's where I'm going with it. Like it just almost didn't need. Oh, Mish is saying, "Oh, come on, old actors need something." I believe that I do, because if you've seen the first one, and then you see part 2 that's come out, and people were so excited it was coming out. And again, I think you've got something with that type of magic. I don't know. What do
Right.
you think? You don't need a second one. Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
sometimes.
sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I don't know. Sometimes yeah, maybe it fell short than what the vision was. Like, who knows? Maybe, I don't know. It got everybody excited and it brought everybody back to it, right? Like I bought all kinds of stuff for my granddaughter, all the stuffies and
Yeah.
all of those things, and she loved it.
But you could, like, everybody's agreeing in the chat too, saying yeah. And Batgirl, I agree. I waited my whole life for Hocus Pocus 2, but again, everybody's saying
Mm-hmm.
the same thing. The first one was great, and the thing is, I get it when you've got other generations up and coming. But I don't know, maybe I'm old fashioned, but I don't see anything wrong with sharing classics with your children or grandchildren. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, My granddaughter gets the classics as well too, but
I know she does. I wasn't talking about you though, because I know you do so much with her, but I meant most people, right, with a new generation that, yeah, there's, or if you love the story, yeah, then you could build off of it, but also build it for the new generation, because that's what I'm talking about. And it's just my opinion, but for example, Ghostbusters, right? And I loved all the actresses that were in there, but the story didn't do them justice because it was like trying to be recreated in the vein of the old. I wouldn't have had a problem at all if you had four female Ghostbusters and they were continuing in the tradition. They had inherited the business or something. Do you see what I'm saying? So I'm okay with that. But yeah.
I never saw that one, but I saw the ones after that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I didn't see that one. I saw the two. I think there's two after that, and I didn't mind them.
They're goofy. They're goofy. They're funny, right?
They are exactly what they are meant to be.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, or when they wanted a female James Bond. And again, there was so much backlash about that, even from women. And what I kept saying too, I love the idea of a female James Bond type character, but don't make her female 007. Make her double 008 or 0011 or whatever, and build her own storyline. So you see what I'm saying? Like, you could build off of it, but yeah, that's just my thoughts, I guess. Mm-hmm. Oh, that girl's going when Mary sorry, Hocus Pocus 2 showed up with the Roombas, if you know what a Roomba is. Yes, that's funny. Agent 99. Mort, is that what your life story would be the name of your movie? Oh. So
the female.
Oh, I get you. Thank you. I'm a little slow. Agent 99. I like that. Thank God you picked that up. So I had a hard time getting into that movie, Blue Velvet. Did you ever see it?
No. Here I am saying I love movies and I've not seen these ones.
Oh, that was plenty of weird. Like weird.
I will make a list.
Weird. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I will make a list.
So, did you want to bring up another one?
You.
What's that?
So it's not really. I wouldn't. I mean, let's do. Do you want to do Bruce Lee and the Crow?
Yeah. Okay.
Is that on your list?
I have The Wizard of Oz, Rosemary's Baby, The Omen. Let's see. I'm going.
Okay. Let's do Wizard of Oz.
Okay. So The Wizard of Oz.
Let's do Wizard of Oz. But Lorraine, if you are still here, let's do Wizard of Oz. Okay. My friend Lorraine, that's her favorite movie.
Yay. It's lots of people's favorite movies. See, and little people, little people that go out for Halloween, they still dress up as those characters. I don't know if you could ever capture the magic that was in that movie, right? But The Wizard of Oz from 1939, some of the incidents that occurred. Before modern safety regulations, the set was a hotbed of accidents. Buddy Ebsen, the original Tin Man, nearly died from the aluminum powder in his makeup and was replaced with the actor Ray Bolger, I think, that plays the Tin Man now. Please forgive. No, maybe he was the Scarecrow. Please forgive me if I got his name incorrect, but it was supposed to be Buddy Ebsen. Then it says Margaret Hamilton, the Wicked Witch, suffered life-threatening burns during a pyrotechnic scene and refused further stunts. Geez, you think? I wouldn't want to be doing them either if that happened. Mm-hmm. Toto the dog broke a paw, and Judy Garland faced ABUSE, I'll say because we're on YouTube, from cast and crew. Didn't say why, but she did. And a persistent rumor, and I have heard this before, it's quite a conspiracy, I will say, even though I'm not crazy about that word. A persistent rumor claims a Munchkin actor's self-unaliving, was captured on film, though my source said this is debunked as a shadow of a crew member or prop. I'm not so sure about that, because depending on what you watch and who digs into it, I don't think we'll ever get a definitive answer. Mm-hmm.
And it's in some copies and not other
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
copies, and hanging from a tree, and a cat that was on set. How a cat got on
Mm-hmm.
set. Like, the stories are never consistent.
Yep, yep. So, have you ever seen this movie? Because I haven't. The Innkeepers. Has anybody seen that movie from 2011?
Mm-mm.
So, just to throw a little bit more high strangeness in here, it says, so the Innkeepers, some of the incidents, it was filmed at the reportedly haunted Yankee Peddler Inn. The production experienced strange noises, flickering lights, doors swinging open with force, and phone calls with no one on the line. Director T.
Oh,
West
I love that.
and the crew were unsettled by these events, which aligned with the inn's reputation of a paranormal hotspot. Another thing that was, it says why it's notable, the real life haunted location and documented paranormal activity make this indie horror film a very unique case.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that. I would like to know too if there was, like, with the phone ringing, if it wasn't actually hooked up, you know?
Have you
So it's
been on a
ringing and not
case?
hooked up.
Have you been on a case where you've seen that? I have seen clips from people that I know, but I've never seen it. Have you seen that happen too? Yeah,
Mhm.
that's creepy.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, it sounds like an alarm or a bell going off, but there's no electricity in the building at all.
Wow.
Love it.
Do you have another one on your list? Because, like I said, I could go on forever. I got somebody here.
So, The Omen, from 1976,
Mhm.
the cursed lore attached to it. So, lightning struck Gregory Peck's plane. His son tragically unalived himself, and a crew member died in a car crash. There was numerous mishaps, and all of it they contributed to a supernatural cause. And again, it was because of the religious undertones attached to it. So spiritual warfare, that the same with The Exorcist and the other ones that have this religious aspect to it, like that. They were prevented, or trying to prevent them from creating the movie, people from seeing it. There's people responding to it. I know that my aunt still talks about it, seeing The Exorcist in the theaters when it came out, and that she was underneath the seats while my uncle watched it, and she so her brother, and she was putting her hands over her ears, and she still had nightmares forever just listening to bits and pieces of it. Like, people
I
had strong reactions to it. The same as Passion of the Christ. There's reports of people, like, getting sick, passing out, having
You're right.
heart issues, just from watching the movies.
And then there's, I did not come across this, but this just popped in my head. If I remember correctly, the Amityville Horror, when they were filming that, had some weird stuff happen on set too. Did you
Mm-hmm.
hear that at all?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did too. Mhm.
Sorry, I have them all kind of not in queue.
Well, it's because Cecilia and Bertha are taking our places this evening. So, so we said,
Right?
because I have the
I'm so
Exorcism of Emily Rose, the Conqueror. We still haven't got into the Crow yet.
Oh, so The Conqueror with John Wayne. Yeah,
Mhm.
The Conqueror with John Wayne. The only part that I know about that, like, my kids and I, so single parent, my kids were, from the time they were very, very little, um, was our Christmas Day. We would watch John Wayne movies. We would have a
Oh, wow.
marathon of John Wayne movies when they were little. Yeah, so I have all these fun um, photos of them, like, dressed up like that for watching
How
John
cute.
Wayne movies. But the Conqueror, he plays Genghis Khan, which, you know, that time period where they did that.
Mhm.
Anyway, white people playing indigenous roles,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
he played Genghis Khan, and they film it on a former nuclear testing site, and then like 91 people ended up with cancer or died from cancer after.
91 of the 220 member cast and crew had contracted cancer, with 46 deaths, including John Wayne and the director Dick Powell, it says.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Then
91
they
people.
oh,
Sparky, I know.
they also added here, producer Howard Hughes shipped contaminated dirt for reshoots, exacerbating the exposure. While not necessarily supernatural, the negligence led to its cursed label. Mhm.
And so I think negligence plays a part probably in a lot of them, and leading up to like um, The Crow and Bruce Lee. Like, oh my gosh, I wrote it down. Let's see if I can find it.
I have it too, and it's a curse of, Emily Rose. There's just so much stuff.
The Game of
Oh,
Death. So he died. So the Game of Death was left unfinished when Bruce Lee suddenly died in 1973 at the age of 32. So under mysterious circumstances, his passing, and so you know some of it, right? Like I didn't realize that they're saying that the Lee line was
yeah,
cursed.
yeah. Okay, so I'll read what I have here too with the, Crow. It says the tragic death of star Brandon Lee, who was, I believe, please correct me if I'm wrong, I'm going off memory with this. I think he was the firstborn son of Bruce Lee. And it
Mhm.
says, was unalived, I'll say, by a prop gun loaded with a real bullet fragment, and this overshadowed the production. Other incidents include a crew member suffering severe burns after a crane hit a power line. And in quote unquote says storm of the century, there was, causing delays and illness among the cast and crew. Then there was apparently also an anonymous voicemail which warned the crew not to make the film, claiming bad things would happen. Some link the incidents to Brandon Lee's belief in a familial curse, and that's where you had brought in Bruce Lee, and I've seen this too. Um, my first husband was Japanese, and I know he really looked into some of this stuff. And in Bruce Lee, I believe this, that it was a curse passed down the familial line that the firstborn son of the Lee family would die, would leave this earth at an early age, basically. And then there's been a theory that the curse has stopped now because, as far as we know, Brandon Lee never had any children, and it was just Bruce Lee. So, but apparently this seemed to go up the lineage, like further back in time with Bruce Lee. So this is why he believed this. Hmm.
Did you mention like that they used actual footage and of him in his casket from his funeral in the movie Game of Death? So
I
they
didn't, but you're right, they did. Hmm.
so they say that's part of um, the curse as well too, or the yeah
So
prophetic plot.
Contessa's adding Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee. It's believed were both cursed. Yes, I thought for some reason I thought you see there was something I saw about his children because he's had Shannon, the daughter, and Brandon. I thought I had read, and if I've missed it, I'm sorry. Somebody had written that both Shannon and Brandon were cursed, but that's not what I read. I just read that it was the firstborn male of the Lee family would leave this
Mhm.
earth at an early age. I didn't know that though, and now that you brought that up, Kerrilynn, yes, I do believe they did use some of the footage from him being in the casket. Brandon, that's really unethical, isn't it?
That's what I was saying earlier, right? Like, where's the
Actually, Sparky's right what he just said. As soon as I read this, so he said, if I remember correctly or right, it was a curse put on his line from let's say, strong group, yes, from over in China. I remember what this was all about now, because he taught people of America. So that's what supposedly the curse came from, and why. Now I remember this, because he taught the master art of kung fu and brought it over to outside, we'll say, of Chinese lineage, that some powerful within his country said, then you will be cursed. It's kind of like the story, in a way, of here where I am in Thunder Bay, one of the world's largest untouched silver mines is outside of the city and about 10 to 15 minutes away from me. And Kerrilynn, I know you've seen it because when you were here last year for the Paracon, it's a rock stone foundation. It looks like a sleeping giant. It's called The Legend of Nana Bijou. And I mean, it's too long of a story to get into, but basically sort of the same thing. There was some trickery and stuff involved with the silver mine. And again, I'm going to be careful of the words I use, that it was always meant to belong to the First Nation people, I will say, but somebody was a traitor and leaked where the location of the mine was. And others, I will say, than First Nations people started to try to go in to remove some of the silver. So it was rumored that the chief lay down and agreed to become a stone giant and guardian of that mine. And anybody apparently that's tried to touch it, they're no longer here. Mm-hmm.
Sparky's just sharing about John Wayne. After a lot of that stuff was going on, he purchased several horse ranches, and he hated horses to make up for stuff that happened.
Oh, really? Wow. I just remember seeing a John Wayne movie as a really, really, really little girl. I don't even know if my brother, well, he must have been born because we're only 15 months apart. But I was so little, and at one time there used to be the drive-in movie, and my parents got married as like they weren't even in their 20s yet when they had me. And I remember that I think they thought I was asleep, and I was poking my head up watching, and I don't know what John Wayne movie it was. And I had to be probably barely 3 years old. I just remember there were all these snakes and all this hissing and horses, and I was terrified for weeks because of that movie.
Funny. Yeah, we used to do John Wayne marathons for Christmas Day all the time when my kids were little. I have this fabulous picture of my kids, all three of them. They were very little. I think they were three. Yeah, so 3, 5, and 6 at the time. No shirts on, and their little pretend guns and a lasso, and they were like, it was just like so fun. It was a good day for us. But being mindful of our time, we did have an awesome listener submission. Did you want to read our listener submission? Thank you so much.
So just to add to the listener submission, and we're so glad we do, I can't talk tonight, scrolling across the bottom. If you have a story of your own and it does not have to relate to whatever we're speaking about. And if you want to remain anonymous, like our listener submission tonight, we will do that for you. You can share it with, do you want to share your email just so I don't screw it up, Kerrilynn?
Sure. It's kerrilynnsporch at gmail.com. So Kerrilynnsporch, kerrilynnsporch at gmail.com.
Mm-hmm. So, it says, one September morning, my wife, daughter, and I were taking a casual stroll through some trails just outside of the town where we live. Most of these trails were maintained year-round by the municipality, to which many people took advantage of, and why not? This was a Saturday morning routine for us and something we look forward to each week. The September breeze, combined with a canopy of trees overhead, gave a sense of peace far away from the daily grind throughout the week. Walking along one of our usual paths, I noticed a path I did not remember seeing during prior visits. As a writer and enthusiast of short stories and poetry, it instantly reminded me of one of my favorite poems called The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. The trail had a fair bit of overgrowth with a couple of smaller trees, which had fallen from grace from its former glory, standing tall, high in the sky. I'm very regimented by nature and do not tend to wander off the quote unquote beaten path. However, for whatever reason, I was drawn to it. All of a sudden, I'm hearing will o wisp. I don't know why. I don't know if that's what's in this story, but I just heard that.
Keep
Um,
going. You're on the right. Yes, keep
I have
going.
not, and just so y'all know, I have not read the story yet. I saved it for tonight because I wanted to be surprised. I just heard that as I read that. Okay, so let me get back to this. Um, my wife and daughter, who tend to lean towards spontaneity and adventure, did not hesitate to agree at the thought of seeing where this path would lead. As we made our way down the narrow trail, we began to see an opening into a small open field, almost circular in nature. The closer we got to the opening, I started to feel, again, quote unquote, different. I felt very rigid, starting at the base of my neck and at the top of my spine, and went down to my feet. My head tilted, tucking my chin into my neck, and a shivering sensation ran straight up my back. I could not take another step forward as I could feel my mouth slowly beginning to form a smile so wide that it felt like the skin in the corner of my mouth was cracking. Thankfully, with my family behind me and concentrating on other parts of the strange circular field, they were paying no attention to me. As my head started to lift up, I could feel, sorry, I lost my place for a sec. I could feel that my mind and control of my body was taking a back seat to whatever was making me do this. Now, looking straight ahead, I could see a tree about 20 to 25 feet in height with no leaves. It appeared lifeless, even though it stood upright, showing no signs of toppling over anytime soon. For whatever reason, still with my seemingly wide smile on my face, the only thing I could think about was being able to, quote unquote, again, run up this tree in seconds, effortlessly perching on one of the lifeless limbs to look over everything below. At the moment, I snapped to attention as if a soldier awaiting inspection by their commanding officer, completely baffled and speechless as to what had just happened and what I had felt. Without getting into a discussion, I looked at my family and just said, "It's time to get out of here. I'll explain later." With a perplexed look on her face, my wife looked at me with curiosity and confusion, but agreed to leave, even though we were only in the open field for minutes. The skin of my face and jaw were extremely sore, which lasted a day or two, but the memory is still fresh in my mind 2 years later. To this day, I still do not know what to make of it. Was it stress? Doubtful. Was it wild imagination? I'm a good storyteller, but nothing like that, let alone that abruptly. Growing up in Newfoundland and Labrador in Canada as in an Irish culture, stories of fairies come to mind. Oh wow. Of fairies come to mind, especially when it comes to manipulation and the areas surrounded by a circle of trees and or other vegetation. Could it have been some other elemental toying with me? I do feel I was targeted by something, possibly due to my uncertainty in my beliefs, as well as lifelong issues dealing with stress and anxiety. This was either to make me feel vulnerable and or to display the control it could have had should it wished. It was something solely between myself and whatever was with me at that time. We have never been back and never will, as I don't feel it's necessary to test something that isn't understood. I have never experienced anything like that before or since that day, but will never completely comprehend what happened that day or why. And then I'm just I did not read that story ahead of time. So the fact that I said, "Holy cow," that's what I felt like, a will-o-wisp that called. Mhm. Wow.
Yeah, yeah, it was something for sure.
Thank you for
Um,
sharing that, Mr. or Mrs. or just whomever, anonymous.
Anonymous,
We
thank
appreciate
you.
that. Mhm.
File 13, thank you for stopping by. They are saying they love your cat glasses, Bertha.
Thank you, Cecilia. What a night for you to pop in. Well, actually, every week is different because we have Halloween every week. So
Mhm.
yeah, you don't have to have a story to go along with the things that we talk about week per week because we change them every week. But what an
Mhm.
incredible experience, don't you think?
Well, unnerving to feel like you have no control. And all I could think of was that horror movie Smile.
I haven't seen it because I don't
Mm,
watch horror movies usually.
That's all I could think of. So that definitely some kind of manipulation. So I wasn't necessarily feeling or fairy. That's not been my kind of interaction. Definitely they can manipulate, but
Not mine either. No. Hmm.
something maybe a little more malevolent and
Hmm.
old,
Hmm.
ancient for sure.
And especially if I'm not mistaken, Irish Celtic background or familiar with the stories, and then you dig into, and I'm not saying it was a will-o-wisp because I've seen people report seeing like lights, colorful lights or whatever. It just felt like that energy, and it couldn't necessarily even be, I don't know, necessarily malevolent, but
Mm-hmm.
whatever way, sounds like you're a believer if you didn't believe before, right?
Mm-hmm. For sure. And next week when Lorilei and Kerrilynn step
We
back
can.
into the hosting roles,
Mhm.
they will be discussing. We're going to discuss
Moon
new moon
stuff.
magic, new moon manifesting.
Yeah. And we again we had said we would book shows around the full moon, and Carrie Lynn was one that remembered. And then you were also the one that suggested, what if we do something with the new moon? And I thought, what a great
Mm-hmm.
idea, because there's a completely different energy with it and things that we
Mm-hmm.
can work with that energy, whether you believe in it or not, about new
Mm-hmm.
beginnings. And yeah, I thought it was a great idea. Mhm.
And if you've enjoyed our segment tonight with our movie critic alter egos, Bertha and Cecilia, we have in store for a future time haunted TV
Oh,
shows.
yeah. Mhm.
We have some more segments in mind with these
This is the one.
characters. Yeah, with these characters. Is there anything you wanted to add before I start our outro?
All I wanted to say is, if you guys have enjoyed what you're seeing tonight, hang around, because Michelle DeRoche, our station manager, she's also the host of our two shows on the network. Tuesdays is Beyond the Outer Realm. Wednesday and Thursday evenings is I can't even talk, the Outer Realm. It'll be up right after us. One thing I did want to add, please tune in Monday. We each have our own shows. This Monday, 6 to 8 p.m., we are having UPRN's own Sean Kelly. So I hope you will. At least I
Nice.
think he is, unless something has shifted, but I haven't had him on in forever, and book these with different shows on the network to have different hosts on. And I'm so happy that we're doing that. Do you want to tell them who you're having on too, Kerrilynn?
Tomorrow's going to be a replay with the Connor sisters. So talking about their book and Appalachian magic and granny magic. So
I love it.
yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you to Joe Montaldo and Michelle DeRoche. Thank you to the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 in the Gulf Coast, 107.7 FM in beautiful New Orleans. And until then, so next week we'll be returning. But until then, this is Cecilia and
Yes.
Bertha.
Bertha.
And keep your reels rolling and your exorcisms handy. So good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone. We love you. Stay tuned for Michelle coming up next.